welcome back to episode 3 of the Fiesta build. So the illustrious wheel has turned up, finally, after being sent God knows where in the country. It's not great. It's had a pretty cruddy paint job done on it. And that's all it is really, is a little bit of curb rashing. I can sort that out fairly easy. But the paint's going to have to be stripped off because it's all bubbled and reacted. So we'll take care of that as we go. There's a little bit of rash on the wheel there as well, but the main thing is it seems to be wholly straight, and the tyre, although it needs replacing, is still road legal, and it seems to be relatively straight on the back as well, which is holding air, which is a big improvement to the last one. So we're going to get that ripped off, get this one chucked on, get it started and take it on its first drive. Still changed over, and some of the beady-eyed amongst you would have noticed that I've put the wing on just to test fit it. There's a little bit of manipulation I've got to do down the bottom there. Seems to have been bent out a little bit. I've got to manipulate it in once the panel's off. So there we go, we've checked the oil. That seems to be, it's not good. It needs changing, but it's usable for now. I've ordered a full service kit for it. That should be here hopefully in the next day or so. Right, so we've got it started. First problem, there's no water in the washers. I should have known before I chucked the load in that there's a problem with the bottle, but if we have a look, it's the actual pump, the connectors have snapped off it, so the bottle seems to be okay. So we can get another pump and put that in, that's not a problem. It'll be cheap as anything anyway. The engine, although it's hesitant to start, it's ticking over nicely actually. We've got a bit of belt noise, that's to be expected. It's been sat, everything's going to be damp, the belt's going to have moisture on them. So I'm going to get it up to temperature, make sure the cooling fans kick in and all that jazz. Make sure we don't get plumes of smoke coming off all that oil. Probably a better view now than what you had before, but you can see the turbo actuator there is absolutely caked. Interesting, it's not ran onto the... It's only a mist, it's not ran onto the actual trays or anything. Which is interesting, so I'm going to get the degreasant on that when it's cool, give that all a clean up. So we'll address that washer bottle. I'm hoping the reason why it's smoking so much is because it hasn't been started in yonks. But that's a fair amount. It does just smell kind of dirty diesel, it doesn't smell too oily. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, I just really need to get it up to temperature now and see how it behaves. So before we drive this thing, I've got somebody coming out to double check the tracking because the steering wheel is well off kilter. It seems really unstable just driving it around the drive. So what we've got to do first is get up on some ramps and give these bolts a final torque and tighten. Just to make sure they're as tight as they need to be before you does the tracking. Because obviously whenever you alter the wishbone bolts or touch the wishbones, you need to make sure the tracking's redone. So let's get on that and get that tightened. So that is with the wheel straight, so you can see how far out the tracking is. So let's see if we can get this up the ramps. That should see us up. We are. There we are, that's a lot better. So we'll get some bricks behind the wheels and get them bolts tightened up. Right, so we just need to get under and back onto that bolt there and give that a good tighten. So I've got me impact gun to start off with. Go under and get on that. Now, so we've just got the bar on there as well. I'll just give that a good... That's tight. We're not going to get much tighter than that. So now that's back down, I just want to give it a quick check of the tyre pressures. We're up to about 32. This one was down at about 26. We should always double check the tyre pressures after the car's been standing for any period of time. Obviously we don't know how long this has been in the salvage yard. So that new one looks a little bit low as well, so that'll be the next one to be done. And the truth all in the end was down towards 20. So again, we'll let that one go up to about 32. And then we'll give it another test and see whether it's any more stable. So after doing the tyres and everything else, I've given the car a good run, got it up to temperature, and the smoke's completely disappeared. Absolutely nothing. So it's just because the car's been standing, that's all. It's just a build-up of crud and oil. So if we give that a quick blip, clean as a whistle. So that's positive. I don't know whether you can hear that or not. We've got that noise. And it's only on idle. So if you rev it, move the car, completely stops. So my suspicion is that it's going to be a tensioner, idler or something on the timing. Prop this bonnet up. I need more hands. I should have been more octopus. Never mind. So I've tracked the noise down, I think, to where all the belts. Let's move some of these spider webs out of the way. It's where all the belts and everything are running down there. And you can see that. Let's try and get you into a better view. So if we've got the belts turning, they're turning freely. But there's a tensioner just there. I think it's that that's making the noise. Again, it could just be that it's not been ran. So I'll give it a couple of weeks of use and see if that quietens down. If not, then we might have to do that tensioner. Which is not a pleasant job, but we'll get it done. Update on the leakage. It's definitely still leaking. So I'd emptied all that out. And that's wet again. So I've got to dry all that back out again. I've got the sealant. So ignore the mess. I've chucked all my tools and everything in the back there. We're going to seal all this off here and seal all this off here. You can kind of see where it's getting through there, look. Let's get you in nice and close. You can see where the box is just wet. So we're going to give that a full seal around there and test that first. Problem is, you could seal forever and a day across the whole of the back of the car. We could take the lights out, we could do around the inside of the lights. There's various bungs behind the lights that we could reseal. There's vents down here, like I mentioned before, that we could reseal. You could literally go to town on it, but I want to prove first what it is that's actually leaking, and I'm 95% sure that it's them roof welds. So we'll get them done first and see how we go. Okay, so we've got some liquid moly, Liquimate 8300. Brilliant, this stuff. It will seal absolutely anything. It's paintable as well, which is really cool. So we have ran a thick bead across all them seams there, and a nice thick bead across all them seams there. So what I'm going to do now is get a small paintbrush. I'm going to feather that out, and then we will dust some paint over it when we paint parts of the car. Okay, so I've got my paintbrush, wet it slightly, and we just want to work the moly just so it's nice and even. So there we are, that's that one sealed up and that one sealed up. So I will give it 24 hours to dry, and then I've got to get in there, look, see, just redistribute that a little bit with the paintbrush under the seal. Just check the other side. That's not too bad, that's down quite far. Just push it into the seal. It always stays flexible, this stuff as well, so hopefully that does the job. We'll give it 24 hours to set, and then we'll give the car a good wash over and see whether they get any water in it. Right, I got a bit sidetracked, but here we go. Let's finally get out and take on its maiden voyage. A little bit of a smell still, but hopefully that'll go the more we use it. Let's make sure the radio's off. Lovely. Started up really easy, no hesitations, no nothing. Let's get the heating on, it's freezing. Well, it's gone to 8 degrees now, it was at 4 degrees earlier, it is warming up a little bit. Well, anyway, off we go. Pop the lights on. Oh, it's so much better on the steering. Drive's actually pretty smooth. I mean, you got to bear in mind that this car was 1,100 quid delivered. Ignore the banging around in the back, that's all my tools and stuff. I've not put the rear interior back in yet. But alright, so the retail price of the car is £3,000, but for what I paid for it, it's driving really nice, actually. Get a bit of momentum going up to 50. Real bumpy road, this one. Got quite a bit of poke as well for 1.6 diesel with about 70 horsepower or whatever it is, maybe 80 horsepower, I don't know offhand. It's got quite a bit of poke in it. Obviously it is a turbo diesel. Heaters are good. Handles really well. Steering is really precise. Despite it being a diesel, it's still got quite a hot hatch feel about it. So the one thing the guy from the tyre place did pick up earlier is, as we thought, the tyre on that replacement alloy, the nearly new alloy, completely scrubbed. So it's about 1 mil within legal limit. It needs to be changed. So we're going to change both across the front axle. So I'll get that booked in. And now I'm happy that she's mechanically sound. I'll go into like a deep detail on the interior as well and just get everything cleaned up. I've not touched any of the dash or anything. All I've done is the interior with the shampoo as you've seen previously, and I've scrubbed the writing off the window from Copart. Reverse it back out of the way so we can get on the drive comfortably. There we go. Well, all in all, I'd say it was a relatively successful test drive. Obviously, buying the car from Copart, I knew it was part of the engine start program. It said runs and drives, but like the guy who delivered it said to me, it literally has to move forward a couple of inches, and that's classed as driving under its own steam. So you never know. So I'm really happy that the fact that actually the engine is strong, the gearbox is strong. I mean, just think about it for a second. Like, if we take it for what I won the car for, 700 and something odd pounds, 90 or something, 750, I can't remember what it was now. That's a hell of a lot of car for that kind of money. So we got off quite lucky with this one. I just wanted to get to this point where I got relative surety that the engine and the gearbox and everything else was good before I start ploughing money into it to make it even better. So this is definitely a keeper with regards to for my daughter's next car. So now we can step away from kind of fixing some of the issues, because I think we've got it to a point, as long as that leak's fixed, and we'll soon tell that within the next 24 hours, we'll move away from kind of more of the repairs to actually making this thing look better, if that makes sense. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate all your comments and all your likes, and I will catch you next time.